Hi, I'm Lori Dew, and I'm the MC tonight of the 17th Annual Caron, New York Gala.
And that's a very wonderful opportunity for you. I know you've had a showbiz background as well, right?
Yes, I am a former anchor on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News Channel, all three. And for the last 5 years, I have been alcohol and drug free, which I'm very, very happy about. And I've been involved with the Caron organization for the last few years. They asked me to MC the gala tonight, and I was only too happy to accept with pleasure.
Let me ask you a personal question, because this is a personal time.
It is,
and this is a personal opportunity for people to help.
It certainly is. This is a time for people to help.
How did you start, and why do you think that now you're not?
Well,
how did it happen for you?
How did what happen?
Well, how did you whatever your addiction was, how did you let it get the better of you?
Boy, my battle with alcoholism lasted for the better part of 20 years. I knew for many years that I had a big fat problem, but I didn't want to admit it, and I didn't want to ask for help. But as the years passed and my problem got worse and worse, I became sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I knew that something had to give. And so, a little over 5 years ago, I made a decision that saved my life. I decided to get sober.
Personal decision, or something jolted you? If you don't mind me asking.
There wasn't one thing that happened that made me realize that it was time to clean up my life, get sober, get healthy, get honest. It was a series of little things that happened that made me say, okay, Lori, it's time to turn your life around. It's not too late. And I hope that by being public with my addiction and my recovery, I'm helping to put a face on this disease that affects tens of millions of people. I'm hoping that by speaking out, by hosting events like this, I can chip away at the stigma that exists about this disease.
That's good news, and that's very honorable, and thank you for doing that. Tell us about the evening. What's going to happen?
The Caron Gala is great news. It's great news for recovery. It's great news for the Caron Foundation, which provides tens of thousands of people with the life-saving help that they need. They are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You know, addiction does not take a day off, and neither do the people at Caron. So I'm just delighted to be a part of this great organization.
Who's going to be here tonight?
We have a huge night in store. Clive Davis, who needs no introduction, is getting an award. Liza Minnelli is going to be performing a song in honor of Clive Davis. The two of them have been friends for a very long time. And Judy Collins is going to be doing a 30-minute set. She is our big award recipient tonight, so it's going to be dynamite.
Last question. What's good news for you, Lori?
Good news for me is being sober just for today, knowing that I don't have to drink ever again in my life.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
It's all about raising money for adolescents, and adolescents are being overwhelmed by drug addiction, everything from alcohol, which actually is the most dangerous drug there is, to marijuana, and to using opiates, OxyContin, oxycodone, and other medications, including Valium, Xanax, etc. And it's becoming an epidemic. As a matter of fact, the World Health Organization says by the year 2020, if you include all the effects that drugs have on other disease entities, like gastroenterological, cardiovascular diseases, it will be the #1 disease in the world. So tonight's a very important night.
At one time, your name again is?
It's Dr. Harris Straightner, Stratyner, and I am the Regional Clinical Vice President of Caron, New York.
So let's, as a medical doctor, let's start with the alcohol, because you said that that's probably the most concerning. What is it about the alcohol? Or is it it hurts the liver, it hurts this, it hurts that? What does it do?
Actually, alcohol affects every cell in the body. There's not one cell. You could go for hair transplants, and they'll tell you not to drink a couple of weeks before you get the transplants because it can affect blood flow. It affects your heart. It affects your liver beyond all understanding. It causes esophageal cancer. It causes colon cancer. Alcohol is just a devastating central nervous system depressant, and people use it as a social disinhibitor, but the reality is ultimately, over time, it's a depressant. And it's so ironic that so many people will go on selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors and yet they'll drink alcohol. So they're kind of neutralizing the effect of their antidepressant.
Well, let me ask you in this regard, are we talking about excessive? Or are we talking about how is a drink a day? How is the health possibilities, or is there none in your mind?
It's an excellent question. First of all, alcoholism is a disease. Not everybody has that disease. It's primary, progressive, chronic, and if not treated, fatal. It depends on whether or not you're a man or a woman, your fat to water content, how tall you are. So it's impossible to tell what's safe for one person. You can hear studies about drinking 4 ounces of red wine and it's good for your heart, and that may generally be true, but not if you're an alcoholic, because it's the first drink that gets you drunk.
Okay, so in the old Greeks, in moderation, a drink maybe even a day or every other day, you don't see
only if you're not an alcoholic. If you have the disease of alcoholism, it would be the equivalent of somebody with diabetes having a teaspoonful of sugar a day.
Okay, what's good news for you, doctor?
Good news for me? Good news for me is that we're doing a lot of research on alcoholism. That Caron Treatment Center really goes out of their way for youngsters to do education and to help people to understand that this is a brain disorder. That's good news to me.
Thank you very much, and thank you for doing the work you do.
My pleasure.
Your name is Thomas?
Thomas Roberts.
On MSNBC.
Correct.
What are you doing over there?
Tonight we're here to celebrate the good work of Caron and what they do, and it is a fantastic institution that's been around for over 50 years, really changing lives and saving lives. Plus, Liza Minnelli's supposed to be here to perform, so it's your quintessential New York night.
So what brings you here, personally?
Personally, I had one of my dear friends has gone to Caron because of addiction issues, and it saved his life, and it really turned things around for him, and he's doing fantastic. He's freshly married, has a new baby, and he's a completely different person. So I know firsthand the good work that Caron does, and it really does. It changes lives and saves lives.
I imagine you, as a good friend, were a good confidant, though, for that person during that time.
You know, I think that, his downward spiral, so to speak, was something that we had watched for years. And when I had heard about the fact that he took it so seriously to go to Caron, I knew that things were about to change, and change in a big way. So I'm just happy to report that things are doing really well for him. And like I said, I know firsthand the great work they do.
Excellent. Last question. What's good news for you?
What is good news for me? Good news for me is that I'm happy, healthy, engaged, and life is good for me right now, so I can't complain. And it's a beautiful night in New York. We deserve some good weather after all the rain.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm with Judy Collins. Hi, Judy. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm such honored to be with you. You've championed
you.
so many causes. You live on the Upper West Side here, and you do good.
Thank you.
How do you feel tonight about being honored at such an important evening?
Well, I'm delighted. I'm delighted to be here. I have a lot of friends here. I've had a wonderful experience myself at Caron, and they did a great job with me, and that was not easy. So I'm very happy to celebrate a place that gives people answers to the problems of addiction and alcoholism.
What were some of the things you felt that did for you that you couldn't do yourself?
Treatment works, and it particularly worked for me, and it happened to have been Chit Chat. It used to be called Chit Chat. It's now called Caron, after the founder. So I needed a place where I could get away from everything and stop the train for a while, and it did that for me.
Do you feel that it was your business, your singing, your career that did that?
No, it's alcoholism.
Strictly.
Comes with a genetic package, and it doesn't really matter what you do for a living. If you have the genetic package, there's a pretty good chance that you may have to deal with an alcoholism problem, and this is a place to solve it.
Clive Davis, good friend for many years?
Many, many years. I've known Clive forever. And Liza, and many people here. I think I caught a glimpse of Paul Williams over there.
Oh, Paul Williams. I love Paul Williams.
I'm not sure. I think it was. Anyway, we'll see.
Well, we're going to be doing the World Peace Day concert in the Great Lawn next year, our company. And we want to invite you right now to be a part of it. International Peace Day,
Oh,
September,
that would be so wonderful.
with our good friend Pete Seeger and Peter Yarrow, a lot of your buddies. and I'm getting goose pimples asking you. So
Wonderful. Well, if I can possibly do it, I will.
That's marvelous. Last question. What's good news for you?
Good news? Oh, well, I have a new book out called Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. I have a new album called Bohemian. I'm in the midst of doing a big concert fundraiser for PBS at the Temple of Denver at the Metropolitan Museum, which will be shown in September. Things are cooking.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Judy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, the wonderful thing about this city is you get people from everywhere, every race, every ethnicity. Come here with...
I'm with Geraldo Rivera. Hello, Geraldo.
Hi, how are you doing?
Okay, good. I haven't seen you in a while. Actually, I used to work at Times Square Studios, man.
Oh, and that's where I came to fame. One of the times.
Well, you had a wonderful show, and you
Thank you.
maintained your integrity.
I have.
You have helped places like Willowbrook and other places, and you continue on with a positive attitude on life.
I have a very positive attitude about life, and I'm delighted to be here, and I hope they raise a bucket of money, and it's a wonderful cause.
What do you think about addictions?
Addiction is rough. Luckily I've never fallen in the snare of it, maybe because I've been too busy. I'm not sure why. I certainly have had my brushes with disaster. But, those who fall into it, I lament that they have, and they've got a very difficult road, and, so few really emerge unscathed through the dark tunnel of it. But many do, and groups like Caron are largely responsible. You can't do it alone. I think the strength comes from the individual, but the individual needs support, and that's why groups like this and nights like this is so important.
Last question. What's good news for Geraldo Rivera?
Well, good news for me, I got 5 kids, and you worry about them every day, you think about them every day, you wonder what they're doing every day. 5 kids and a beautiful wife. As long as they're okay, I'm okay.
Okay, thanks, Geraldo. Hi, I'm with Clive Davis from Janis, Joplin to Springsteen. Only good news. Okay. A musician, you're a great musician. You must be a great musician. Aren't you a great musician?
Well, I don't play an instrument, but I love music, yeah.
What's good news for you?
Look, tonight is the good news. I mean, we're raising a lot of money on behalf of the Caron Foundation, whose work is legendary. And so if I can help, I'm being honored tonight, so it's special for me. And Liza Minnelli and Judy Collins are performing, so it's going to be a great night, hopefully, for a great cause.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. You don't need, with your ears, you don't need to be a musician. Hi, your name for the camera, please?
Scott Gomez.
Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
What brings you here tonight?
It's it's a wonderful charity event, and something that I've helped out in the past, and they do a great job, and it's something that I always look forward to coming to.
What's good news for you?
Good news for me is being here, being alive, and helping out.
All right, thank you so much.
No problem.
Do you hope that, sadly, when stars do succumb to their addictions, what message do you hope fans get since they do put a face to it?
You hope they don't get addicted, that they have that gene or whatever it is, because they found it, there was something within the brain, which is very interesting research. But take stock. Grateful for every day.
And you're performing tonight. What is it, in you that keeps you wanting to get on the stage?
My friends.
What are you performing tonight?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you. Very short. But it's for Cat.
What's good news for you?
What, darling?
What's good news for you?
Getting up in the morning.